Welcome students to chemistry class, and in this session we will discuss about chemical equivalents, equivalent weight and its various applications. So before understanding equivalent weight, let us first understand about atomic weight or atomic mass. What is atomic mass? So we all know that atoms are very small particles. So to weigh them exactly is very difficult, and it is not always possible. So let so there is a term called absolute atomic mass. So absolute atomic mass is actually the weight of one atom of a particular atom in grams. For example, one atom of oxygen weighs 2.6 into 10 power minus 23 grams. So this is absolute atomic mass of oxygen. So this is atomic mass. But we generally don't use these type of values in our normal calculations. Why? Because each atom of each element has different weight for its atom. So we needed one particular reference, and so in suppose in earlier days hydrogen was that reference. So all elements atoms of other elements were measured in relation to weight of one atom, mass of one atom of hydrogen. So all these masses were known as relative atomic mass, because in relation to atomic mass of a particular substance, particular standard substance. So nowadays we have found a new a new scale for measuring atomic masses, and that is also relative atomic mass. But this nowadays this is called as atomic mass unit, and this scale is known as atomic mass unit, AMU. So 1 AMU is 1.6 into 10 power minus 24 grams. 1 AMU is numerically equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 24 grams. And from where we got this value? From where we got this 1.6 into 10 power minus 24 grams? How we could assign that 1 AMU should be equal to this only? Why not 2.6 into 10 power minus 23? So this comes from the 1/12 of the mass of one carbon atom. So AMU scale is also relative atomic mass scale, is relative to carbon, relative to one mass of the C12 atom. So 1 AMU is 1/12 of the mass of one carbon atom. And why we have selected carbon? Why not oxygen? Why not hydrogen? Why not chlorine? Why not zinc? Because carbon is the most abundant element on earth. Most abundant. It is found in all living beings. It is found in our atmosphere, everywhere, somewhere in bound shape. So carbon has been selected. So now onwards we should understand that whenever we are talking that hydrogen's mass is 1.008, so hydrogen's mass is 1.008 times of 1/12 of the mass of the carbon atom. So have you got that idea? So 1 AMU is 1/12 of the mass of one carbon atom. So let us talk about chemical equivalent. What is chemical equivalent actually? So it was observed that in chemical reactions, a definite mass of a particular substance always combines with a definite mass of some other substance. So that definite mass is known as chemical equivalent. For example, let us talk about water. So in water, a definite mass A definite ratio between masses of hydrogen and oxygen has always been found. So let us calculate the ratio of masses of hydrogen and oxygen. So here in water we have two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So mass of two atoms of hydrogen is 2 into 1, and 16 is the mass of one atom of hydrogen, oxygen, sorry. So it comes out to be 2 is to 16, and therefore that ratio finally is 1 is to 8. So 1 gram of hydrogen will always combine with 8 grams of oxygen in water, and in other elements, in other compounds also. So this kind of analogy or equivalence, that 1 gram of hydrogen combines with 8 grams of oxygen, so this kind of analogy, this kind of equivalence is known as equivalent weight. So let us define equivalent weight. What is actually equivalent weight? So equivalent, the definition for equivalent weight is, equivalent weight or equivalent mass is the number of parts by mass of the given substance which combines with or displaces directly or indirectly 1.008 parts by mass of hydrogen, or 8 parts by mass of oxygen, or 35.5 parts of mass of chlorine. So let us understand that. So here, suppose a substance that has x grams, and if it combines with 1 gram of hydrogen, so that is its equivalent weight. Suppose that x gram of that substance, suppose hydrogen is not there, it combines with 8 grams of oxygen. So then also we will say that x gram is the equivalent weight of that substance. Suppose we don't have hydrogen, we don't have oxygen, so it is only chlorine is there. So if that substance, if x gram of that substance combines with 35.5 grams of chlorine, or displaces 35.5 grams of chlorine directly or indirectly, so that is equivalent weight of that substance. And what is 1 gram of hydrogen, what is 8 grams of oxygen, what is 35.5 grams of chlorine? These are all equivalent weights of these elements. 1 gram means 1.008 grams of hydrogen, it is equivalent weight of hydrogen. 8 grams of oxygen, the equivalent weight of oxygen is 8 grams. The equivalent weight of chlorine is 35.5 grams. Similarly, if these three elements are not there, we have silver, so 108 grams of silver is the equivalent weight of silver. So suppose we have x grams of any particular substance that combines with directly or indirectly with silver, 108 grams of silver, so that will be its equivalent weight. In absence of all these, if we have 23 grams of sodium, if it combines with 23 grams of sodium, then also we will say that x gram is the equivalent weight of that substance. So this is equivalent weight. So how we are going to determine the equivalent weight of any substance? So for that we have one very general equation, that is, equivalent weight is equal to molecular mass or atomic mass of that substance. Suppose it is an element, in that case it is atomic mass. If it is a compound, it is a molecule, so molecular mass or formula mass of that particular substance, that compound, divided by a particular valency factor, that here we will take that as x. X is the valency factor. So what is that? X is valency in case of elements, basicity, x is basicity in case of acids, x is acidity in case of bases, x is charge or of a particular present on a particular ion in case of ions, x is the oxidation state in case of a particular oxidant or reductant. So this is one general formula that is applicable to all kind of calculations, determinations of equivalent weight. So let us one by one understand how we are going to apply to this equation. Now let us try to find the equivalent weights of elements. So how we are going to do that? So how we are going to calculate that? So for that we will use the expression we have talked about. So it is, what is that? In equivalent weight is equal to atomic mass upon that factor x. So what is that factor x? Because we are talking about elements, so it is valency. So let us apply that. So in case of oxygen, so what is the atomic mass of oxygen? It is 16. So 16 divided by that valency of oxygen. So what is the valency of oxygen? Oxygen belongs to 16th group. So it has valency of 2. So 16 divided by 2, and that comes out to be 8. So the equivalent weight of oxygen is 8. So let us come to sodium. Now let us apply that. So atomic mass of sodium is 23. We all know that. So valency of sodium, we all know that because it belongs to the first group in periodic table. So it has valency 1. So let us apply these two values to the particular expression. So it comes out to 23 upon 1. Mass upon valency. Mass is 23, valency is 1. So that comes out to be 23. So equivalent weight of sodium is 23. Now in case of iodine, mass of iodine is 127, valency of iodine is 1, so it is 127. Equivalent weight of iodine is 127. Let us come to calcium. So calcium, we know that it has valency of 2 and its atomic mass is 40. So it is 40 divided by 2. That comes out to be 20. So equivalent weight of calcium is 20. Aluminium. Aluminium belongs to third group and it has valency of 3 plus 3. So the atomic mass of aluminium is 27. So 27 divided by 3 comes out to 9. So equivalent weight of aluminium is 9. And in case of nitrogen, nitrogen's valency is 3. Its atomic mass is 14. So let us put that value 14 upon 3, and that comes out to be 4.66. So equivalent weight of nitrogen is 4.66. So this is how we are going to calculate the equivalent weight of elements. Now let us find the equivalent weight of simple molecules. So again formula will be the same. Equivalent weight is equal to molecular mass upon a factor x. And what is that x? X is equal to valency into atomicity. Valency into atomicity. So now let us apply. In case of oxygen, O2, so the molecular mass of oxygen is 2 atoms of oxygen and 16 is the mass of one atom. So 2 into 16 comes out to be 32. So molecular mass of oxygen is 32 divided by valency into atomicity. So valency of oxygen, we know that it is 2, and atomicity, because there are 2 atoms, so atomicity is also 2. So 32 divided by 2 into 2, that is 32 upon 4, and that comes out to be 8. So equivalent weight of oxygen in oxygen molecule is 8. So again come to nitrogen. So we know that nitrogen molecule's formula is N2. So atomicity of nitrogen in nitrogen formula, nitrogen molecule is 2, valency of nitrogen is 3, and molecular weight of nitrogen is 28. So let us put that. So molecular mass is 28 divided by 3 valency into 2 atomicity. So 28 upon 6, and that comes out to be 4.66. So this is the equivalent weight of nitrogen in nitrogen molecule. So let us come to sulfur, apply it to sulfur. So molecular mass of sulfur. So sulfur here is S8 molecule. In S8 molecule we are trying to find out the equivalent weight. So S8, 8 into 32 comes out to be 256. So molecular mass of sulfur molecule is 256, and valency of sulfur is 2, atomicity, because we can see that S8 molecule, so 8 is the atomicity, so 256 upon 2 into 8, and this comes out to be 16. So equivalent weight of sulfur is 16. Now let us come to chlorine. So chlorine has molecular weight of 71, its valency is 1, atomicity is 2. So let us put all these values. So 71 upon 1 into 2, that is 71 upon 2, and that is again 35.5. So chlorine has equivalent weight of 35.5 in chlorine molecule. Now let us talk about ozone. So ozone has, we know that molecular formula of ozone is O3. So atomicity of oxygen in O3 is 3, and the valency of oxygen is 2, molecular weight is 48. So 48 upon 6 comes out to be 8. So again it is 8 in ozone also. In case of hydrogen, molecular weight of hydrogen is 2, its valency is 1, atomicity is 2, so 2 divided by 1 into 2, this is 2 upon 2, and that is equal to 1. So this is how we are going to calculate the equivalent weights of simple molecules. Now let us apply this to ions. So how we are going to find out equivalent weights? So equivalent weight, we all know that is formula mass of ion upon X, that valency factor X. And what is X? X here is charge on the ion. So let us apply to simple systems of ions. So simplest one is Na plus. So Na plus ion, sodium positive ion. So equivalent weight we can find, formula mass of ion is 23. Sodium has mass of 23, and number of charge present on sodium ion is 1. So 23 divided by 1. So equivalent weight of sodium in this ion is 23. Now let us apply to oxide ion. So in oxide ion we know that the charge present is 2 minus charge. So the equivalent weight will be formula mass. What is the formula mass? Oxygen has mass of 16, so 16, and number of charge present on ion is 2 minus, so 2. So 16 divided by 2, so it comes out to be 8. So let us come to some complex molecules like sulfate ion. So sulfate ion has 2 negative charge. What is the formula for sulfate ion? SO4 2 minus. So let us calculate the formula mass of sulfate. Formula mass for sulfate is 96. Charge present on that ion is 2 minus. So 96 divided by 2, and it comes out to be 48. So sulfate ion's equivalent weight is 48. So let us apply to ammonium. Again ammonium ion, so for formula weight is NH4. So 4 plus 14, that comes out to be 18. Charge present on ammonium ion is 1. So 18 divided by 1, that is equal to 18. So equivalent weight of ammonium ion is 18. Phosphate ion. Phosphate ion formula is PO4 power 3 minus charge. 3 minus charge it has. So formula weight is 95 for phosphate, and its charge is 3 minus, so divided by 3, that comes out to be 31.67. So this is how we are going to calculate equivalent weights of ions. So we have talked about the equivalent weights of elements, molecules, ions. Now let us talk about salts. So neutral salts, common general salts. So how we are going to find the equivalent weight of that? So formula will remain same, formula mass divided by a factor x. Here x is total positive charge on cation or total negative charge on anion. So let us apply to few examples. So first example is sodium chloride. It is very common salt. We all know that common table salt is known as NaCl. So let us find out the equivalent weight of NaCl. So its formula weight is 23 plus 35.5. So it comes out to be 58.5. Total positive charge on sodium ion is +1, or total negative charge on chlorine ion, so it is -1. So in both cases it is 1. So formula mass of the salt divided by 1. So 58.5 divided by 1. So the equivalent weight is 58.5. In case of calcium sulfate, so formula mass for calcium sulfate is 136, and charge on calcium ion. So calcium has two positive charges. So total positive charge on cation is 2. Or sulfate ion, total negative charge on sulfate ion is 2 minus. So 136 divided by total positive charge or total negative charge. So 136 divided by 2, that comes out to be 68. Equivalent weight here is 68. In case of sodium carbonate, it is formula mass of salt, that is 106. Total positive charge present here is 2 sodium ions are there, and each sodium ion has 1 positive charge. So overall number of total positive charges is on cation is 2 positive, and in case of negative charges, so carbonate ion has 2 minus charge. So formula mass divided by total number of positive charges, that is 2, total number of negative charge, that is also 2. So 106 divided by 2 comes out to be 53. So this is how we can find equivalent weight of a salt. So salts can be neutral, salts can be acidic, sometimes salts can be basic. So in case we have already discussed about neutral salts, in case of acidic salts, how we are going to calculate their equivalent weights? So again formula will be the same, formula mass of salt divided by x. X is here not the number of positive or negative charges, it is x is the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms present in that particular salt. So how we will find the number of replaceable atoms, we will talk about later. Let us apply this formula and find out the equivalent weights here. So one of that kind of salts is sodium bisulfate, NaHSO4. So formula weight is 120, and number of replaceable hydrogens here is 1. In this salt, number of replaceable hydrogens is 1. So 120 upon 1, that comes out to be 120. And another neutral salt is sodium sulfate. The formula is Na2SO4, sodium sulfate. So there is no replaceable hydrogen. So the here we have to apply the previous formula, that is total number of positive charges. So total number of positive charges is 2, molecular form weight is 142. So 142 upon 2, that comes out to be 71. So this is the difference between acidic salt and neutral salt, you can see here. So let us come to calcium bicarbonate. So calcium bicarbonate's formula is CaSCO3 taken twice. So here number of replaceable hydrogens is 2. Therefore formula mass divided by number of replaceable hydrogens, so it is 2. Formula mass is 162. Replaceable hydrogens are 2. Therefore 162 upon 2 is equal to 81. So equivalent weight of calcium bicarbonate is 81, and in case of calcium carbonate it is 100 upon 2. Here calcium carbonate has no hydrogens, so no chance of having any replaceable hydrogens. But why it is 2? Because calcium has 2 positive charge. So don't misinterpret that in both cases it is 2, both cases are having number of replaceable hydrogens, or calcium has in both cases 2 positive charges. No, here in case of calcium bicarbonate it is 2 hydrogens that are present as replaceable hydrogens, and in case of calcium carbonate it is 2 positive charge present on calcium ion. Now again is the case with sodium bicarbonate and sodium carbonate. In case of sodium bicarbonate there is one hydrogen that is replaceable. So let us apply 84 is the formula mass, one hydrogen that is replaceable, so 84 upon 1, equivalent weight is 84. In case of sodium carbonate it is 106 upon 2, because total number of positive charges or negative charges is 2, formula weight is 106, so 106 upon 2, that is 53. So let us understand what are replaceable hydrogen atoms. So let us take a case of sodium sulfate and sodium bisulfate. So all of we know that sodium bisulfate formula is NaHSO4 and sodium sulfate's formula is Na2SO4. So their Lewis structure is somewhat like this. See, sulfur is bound to 4 oxygens, and here in case of sodium bisulfate, one oxygen is bonded to sodium and one oxygen is bonded to hydrogen. So one OH is there, and here that OH, the hydrogen present with bonded with oxygen, it can be replaced. Why? Because oxygen is, very electronegative. So due to electronegativity of oxygen, oxygen can take away the shared pair of electrons and hydrogen is released. So that's why here hydrogen is replaceable. And in case of sodium sulfate, there is no hydrogen linked to oxygen, there is no hydrogen in the molecule itself, so there is no question of replaceable hydrogens. So this is how we have to see the structure. We have to know the structure of the salts, then only we can calculate the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. Now let us talk about equivalent weight of an acid. So what is the formula? Formula is again same formula, mass of acid upon a factor x. What is that x? X here is basicity of the acid. So what is basicity? Basicity is nothing but number of H plus ions furnished by one molecule of acid in solution. So let us apply this to different examples. So let us take up H2SO4. So here H2SO4 has 2 hydrogens that it furnishes in solution, 2 replaceable hydrogens. It provides 2 hydrogen ions. So the molecular weight of sulfuric acid is 98, because it gives 2 hydrogen ions, so 98 divided by 2, equivalent weight comes out to be 49. In case of HCl, its molecular weight is 36.5, because it furnishes only one H plus ion, so 36.5 divided by 1, so equivalent weight of HCl is 36.5. Now let us talk about interesting cases of H3PO3, H3PO4 and H3PO2. These are 3 different acids of phosphorus. So phosphoric acid, phosphorus acid. So H3PO3, in case of H3PO3, the number of, although in formula you can see H3, there are 3 hydrogens, but the number of hydrogen ions it gives in solution is only 2. We will see that later. So in this case, formula weight is 82, number of hydrogen ions furnished by this molecule is 2, so it comes out to be 82 upon 2, that is 41. In case of phosphoric acid H3PO4, so what is here? Here again in formula you can see there are 3 hydrogens. So here in this particular molecule all the 3 hydrogens are given out by this molecule in solution. So number of replaceable hydrogens is 3. So 98 upon 3 comes out to be 32.67. And in case of H3PO2, again the formula shows that there are presence of 3 hydrogens, but only 1 hydrogen is replaceable. This molecule gives only 1 hydrogen ion in solution, and that's why its equivalent weight will be formula weight divided by 1, and formula weight is 66 divided by 1, that is 66. So equivalent weight here is 66. In case of HNO3 it is 63 upon 1 because 1 hydrogen is replaceable. So let us have a look about the number of replaceable hydrogens in these all acids of phosphorus. So let us see the structures of all these 3 molecules, H3PO4, H3PO3, H3PO2. So let us take the case of H3PO4, phosphoric acid. So here you can see phosphorus is bonded to directly oxygens. There are 4 oxygens. 1 oxygen in all cases is bonded to phosphorus with double bond. So leave that. So in case of H3PO4, phosphorus is directly linked to 3 POH bonds. So here, because there are 3 OH, so due to high electronegativity of oxygen, all the 3 hydrogens linked to oxygens can be released due to high electronegativity of oxygen. So the number of hydrogens furnished by this molecule will be 3. Now come to case of H3PO3. Here you can see there are 2 OH groups linked to phosphorus, and 1 hydrogen is directly linked to phosphorus. So because these 2 hydrogens that are linked directly to oxygens in OH groups, so due to high electronegativity of oxygen, these 2 hydrogens will be released by the OH groups. So that's why only 2 hydrogens will be released. Why not that hydrogen that is directly linked to phosphorus? Because phosphorus is not that highly electronegative when compared to oxygen. So this hydrogen that is linked to phosphorus will not be released in solution, and that is again same in the case of H3PO2. Here only 1 OH group is present, so only 1 hydrogen will be released because oxygen has high electronegativity, so that hydrogen linked to that oxygen will be released easily, but the 2 hydrogens that are directly linked to phosphorus will not be released due to low electronegativity compared to oxygen. So that is the reason why there are different number of hydrogens furnished by these 3 molecules. So let us talk about how to calculate equivalent weight of an oxidant or reductant. So the formula is again same formula, mass divided by a factor x. What is that factor x? X here is number of electrons gained or lost by one molecule. So let us take case of oxalic acid. So oxalic acid gives 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, and in this process oxalate ion releases 2 electrons. It gives out 2 electrons, so it loses 2 electrons. So in this whole reaction there is loss of 2 electrons by one molecule of oxalic acid. So here number of electrons lost is 2. So formula weight of oxalic acid, because it is hydrated oxalic acid, so it is 126 divided by 2, that comes out to be 63. So this is how we can calculate equivalent weight of oxidants or reductants. So till now we have seen that equivalent weights are varying sometimes. Why? Because equivalent weight of an element we have already seen is equal to atomic mass upon valency. So equivalent weight, because atomic mass does not vary, so what varies? Valency varies. So equivalent weight is inversely proportional, varies inversely proportional to valency. So if valency increases, equivalent weight decreases. If valency decreases, equivalent weight of the same element increases. So this is how equivalent weight varies. So we have seen already that equivalent weight varies with respect to valency. Another factor that affects equivalent weight is oxidation number. So equivalent weight varies according to oxidation number. So just we can see an example of iron. It has two oxidation states, one is +2, one is +3. So in case of let us find the equivalent weight of iron in FeO and in another of its compound, another oxide, Fe2O3. So in case of FeO, its equivalent weight will be atomic mass divided by oxidation number. So atomic mass of iron is 56 and oxidation number in case of FeO is +2. So oxidation number is 2 here. So 56 divided by 2 and that will give 28. So oxidation number of iron in case of FeO is 28 and in case of Fe2O3 let us have a look. So here iron has got oxidation number of +3. This is ferric oxide. So 56 atomic mass of iron will be same. So 56 divided by oxidation number, and here its oxidation number has changed now. It has varied. Now it has become +3. So 56 upon 6 upon 3, sorry, and that will be 18.67. So this is how the oxidation number affects equivalent weight. So we have seen two cases. One is valency changes, equivalent weight of the same element changes, oxidation number changes, equivalent weight of the same element changes. Now another case is there. Let us look at that. So equivalent weight of an element also depends upon the mode of reaction, how a reaction is going on. So let us talk about equivalent weight of iron. So iron shows these two kinds of reactions. So in first reaction it reacts with HCl. So it forms FeCl2. So here in this case it liberates one molecule of hydrogen. Okay, so equivalent weight we can calculate is 56 atomic weight of iron divided by how much hydrogen it has displaced. So it has displaced one molecule of hydrogen. Its molecular weight is 2.016 and the equivalent weight of hydrogen is 1.008. So 56 divided by 2.016 into 1.008 equivalent weight of hydrogen. So that comes out to be 28. So equivalent weight here of iron is 28. Now let us have a look into another equation, another situation, another reaction. So here see 2 moles of iron react with 3 moles of chlorine, directly reacts with 3 moles of chlorine. So what it forms? It forms FeCl3. So here what is happening? Because it is 2 moles of or 2 atoms of iron, so 2 into 56 the weight of iron, and how much chlorine it has combined. So 3 moles of chlorine or 3 molecules of chlorine. So 3 into 71. Molecular weight of chlorine is 71. So 3 into 71, and equivalent weight of chlorine is 35.5. So we have to multiply with that. So 2 into 56 into 35.5 divided by 3 into 71, and that is equal to 18.67. So here the element is same, but it is undergoing two different types of reactions, so it has shown two different equivalent weights. So these are the three cases where equivalent weight varies. So equivalent weight, what we have learned, equivalent weight varies with valency, varies with oxidation number, and varies with reactions also. Now we have talked about and we have also known about equivalent weight. So there is a new term, gram equivalent weight. So let us understand that what is gram equivalent weight. So it is nothing but mass in grams of a substance numerically equal to its equivalent weight. So what is that? Let us take an example of HCl. So we know that HCl, already we have calculated the equivalent weight of HCl, and that is 36.5 grams. So 1 gram equivalent of HCl is equal to equivalent weight of HCl in grams. So 36.5, and in grams, that is gram equivalent weight of HCl. So what is equivalent gram equivalent weight of HCl? It is 36.5. 1 gram equivalent weight of HCl is 36.5 grams. That's all. So we can also find number of gram equivalents. Number of gram equivalents is equal to mass of substance in grams. Any substance, any acid, any base, any salt, you just take whatever mass it is there, you just put its mass in grams and divide it by its gram equivalent weight, that is fixed. So you can get the number of gram equivalents. So this is how we are going to calculate the number of gram equivalents, and in next we will talk about that. So let us have a relation between gram equivalent weight and valency. So we already know that equivalent weight of an element is equal to atomic mass upon its valency. So in another way we can write it, atomic mass is equal to equivalent weight into valency. So just we have to put gram atomic mass. So gram atomic mass is equal to gram equivalent weight into valency. So you just simply remember this, gram atomic mass is equal to gram equivalent weight into valency. This is the relation between equivalent weight, valency, and gram atomic mass. So now let us have one numerical. So find the number of gram equivalents present in 0.4 gram of sodium hydroxide. So how we are going to find out? So the formula for that is in we have already learnt is number of gram equivalent weight, number of gram equivalents is equal to mass of that substance divided by its equivalent weight. So mass of NaOH here is 0.4 grams. 0.4 grams. What we have to know, if I know the equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide, our problem will be solved. So what is the equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide? Although we have already discussed this, but here let us find the equivalent weight. So equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide we know is molecular mass divided by factor X. And what is that factor X? We know that sodium hydroxide is a base. So in case of bases, it is the acidity of base. So acidity of NaOH is 1. Why? Because it has one replaceable OH group. So molecular mass of sodium hydroxide is 40 divided by 1, because it has one replaceable OH. So 40 divided by 1 is equal to 40. So equivalent weight of sodium hydroxide is 40, and therefore we can put that 40 in the above equation. So mass divided by equivalent weight is equal to mass here given is 0.4 grams of NaOH. So 0.4 divided by equivalent weight of NaOH, it is 40. So 0.4 divided by 40, and that comes out to be 0.01 gram equivalent. So in 0.4 grams of NaOH, 0.01 gram equivalents of sodium hydroxide is present. So this is all, and in next session we will talk about mole concept and molarity, normality, etc. Thank you.